SpongeBob.
Why is SpongeBob ready?
Because he says, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Never got into SpongeBob. A little before my time.
First, like,
or
two
after
or
my
three
time. A little after my time.
First, like, 2 or 3 seasons? Really good. I loved it. It was so good.
Welcome to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast. It's Tuesday, 2/22/22.
2.
That's Ian. I'm Pat.
Tuesday.
We're going to have a fun time today. What are we talking about today, Ian? Why don't you run down the show for a change?
I mean, we're running down some stuff. So we're going to talk about a big collection being found.
Well, it's a store, old store find.
Well, yeah, it's all the old stock.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Street Fighter 6 being announced. We're going to talk about a certain CFO for a certain video game company.
Yeah, why not?
Running his dumb mouth. We're going to talk about the Nintendo 3DS and Wii Shop going bye-bye. And some of your phone calls. Some of your voicemails.
Oh God! Are you doing this on? Are you tanking this on purpose so you never have to do it again? Because you're doing a great job.
It's like when you're a kid and your mom asks you to do dishes, so you drop the first one.
Okay. What the hell I put up with? Okay.
It's fine. We're good.
How was your weekend, Ian?
My weekend was actually spectacular.
Okay.
Very tired. It's Tuesday. It is all day. But my weekend was good and long. I had a social life. It's overrated sometimes, though, because it's very exhausting. I played D&D on Friday night. We ran late. I took barbecue chicken. It was a great time. It was wonderful.
Did a giant bear break in and steal it?
No bears broke in. But if you want to hear about a lot of bear news, a lot of bear topics, hot goss,
Hank the Tank news.
tune in to our bonus segments that you can get on our Patreon at patreon.com/CU podcast.
Sucks at running down the show. Awesome at pimping the Patreon.
I'm good at it. I have my positives. I played house music for some people on Saturday night. That was a lot of fun. It was also Chris's first time DJing out of the home. And
a DJ in training.
And he did really, really, really well. He was very nervous, but he did fucking fantastic. And then Sunday I went to Raglan House.
Okay. We went to Raglan without Pat. Okay. I'll remember that next time I go to Mitch's. Okay.
John was down to record, and we went to Raglan, and man, I had the meat pies. So good.
I had a meat pie. It's the same meat that's a burger?
I always get the meat pies have become my go-to. It's 50-50 beef and lamb.
Okay.
Gravy, cheese, flaky pastry crust.
See, I never go for meat pies. I'm not a meat pie guy.
God, it's so good.
Maybe that's because I'm not
Comes with a side of zesty gravy for dipping.
Maybe that's more of a thing across the pond. If you're
maybe
from that heritage, if you're like Irish and Scottish, you eat more of that stuff.
I mean, I think that might be why I love them. I mean, because I
never had them growing up. Almost never had it
I love meat pies. I love patties. I love empanadas. I love any handheld food delivery device.
A meat pie's not handheld.
A meat pie is absolutely handheld. We're talking little meat pies, man.
Oh, you're talking about the big one you cut up?
Talking about a little meat pie.
What are those called? When you make a pie with the meat?
A mince pie.
A mince pie. Okay.
No. A mince meat pie is a fruit pie. A mince pie. Mince meat is actually a fruit pie.
Yes.
You can't, but mince is what they call ground beef.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
So these are handheld ones.
Yeah.
They're like fruit pies, like a Hostess pie, basically.
Yeah, or like I think they call them pasties in England.
But why would you go there and not get the best burger in San Diego?
Because it's one of the best meat pies I've ever had, and it's the same meat.
Okay.
Same meat.
Okay.
I mean, you go to Raglan House because they're using really good organic beef. And they'll cook your shit to whatever temperature you want, including like basically not touched at all. I love ordering
that legally, and you're kind of narking them out there.
No. They say that they can because of the organic beef.
Oh, really? So it's safer. There's gonna be salmonella.
I don't know if that means anything, but you go there and order your burger rare.
E. coli. That E. coli is
E. coli.
Sometimes.
Yeah, salmonella.
Not at Raglan. The highest quality meat.
Highest quality meats.
Please be a sponsor of us. I don't know how that'd work out since like no one else knows about Raglan.
We're gonna have to ask you to travel down, like get people to travel.
Come to the two locations in California where there's a Raglan. I think there's 2.
They have 3 restaurants, but Raglan is one of them. And from what I've heard, Raglan is the best of them, but they're all kind of New Zealandy restaurants.
New Zealandy
Yeah,
restaurants.
New Zealandy. Raglan
Zealandy.
Public House is the full name.
I watched the NBA All-Star Weekend,
Yeah.
which is like 3-day event. It's a celebration of the sport. Like no other sport has like this, like 3-day celebration. Yeah, baseball they do the home run derby. That's about it. No one cares that much. It's like the one event. NHL has a lot of cool events. NHL's got it down. NHL has speed, accuracy, breakaway contests for goalies.
NHL definitely is pretty.
They had a cool thing at the fountains at the Bellagio where they're literally in the middle of the giant fountain and were shooting pucks into little like targets. It was
that's awesome.
They did blackjack 21 with like you shoot a puck up,
little fun
you
fair
hit the
type
cards.
games.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. NHL tries all this shit because NHL is the least popular mainstream sport.
Right, so they can
just try that shit.
My voice keeps cracking. They
know.
can just keep throwing shit at the wall.
But I
and seeing
watched.
what
Okay,
sticks.
so I watched the NHL one a couple weeks ago. I was like, this is fun. This is fun. I always watched as a kid, and they had the hardest shot as well, and the accuracy of shooting. Remember Messier won it the 1 year. He got all 4 in a row, whatever, all 5. But anyway, but the NBA one's a whole like celebration of like culture. There's and hip hop stuff, and like it's an event. So they had the first day they have like the Rising Stars contest. Then the second night they have all the skills contests. Well, no, they added a skills contest. They did a team skills contest where they do like almost like targets on the court. It's a 3-person team. Targets on the court with different points. And then there's also like a passing thing. All 3 players pass the moving targets. That was new. So that's like the first night. Second night, then they do the traditional 3-point contest, which is awesome. And they do the dunk contest, which this year was controversial because it sucked. Because this year, the dunk contest, no one could do dunks. It was really embarrassing. There was like one person that like tried to do it 10 times. Yes. They got players that should not have been in the contest, I hate to say it, because they weren't getting close to it.
Sure.
They got Juan Toscano Anderson from the Warriors, who's a fringe player who puts up a lot of heart, but should not have been in the contest. They should have
They should have pulled the trampoline out.
almost. They should have got like Kuminga, the rookie who has had insane dunk stats, an athletic freak at like whatever 19 or 20.
Right.
So that's why people become more critical because used to be the stars used to do the dunk contest. They don't anymore. They haven't in forever.
But why?
Jalen Rose had a nice thing saying the newer generation doesn't want to grow the game as much. They're more about if I don't get paid, I don't want to be a part of it. Like back in the day, Jordan did it, and Dominique Wilkins and Vince Carter. Kobe did it, I think, a year or two. So like they wanted to help, like put yourself on a pedestal. Like people were saying, why isn't John Morant doing it? The guy's one of the most explosive dunkers.
Right.
He put his head almost above the rim, and he's only like 6'3" or 6'4". It's not. And they questioned him, and he's like, no, I don't want to do it. And it's like, okay. So that sucked, and that closed the night, unfortunately. Then the All-Star game was nuts. 75th anniversary. So at halftime, they had all the people, all the 75th that were still alive, come out, and obviously some of them are passed away because the NBA's started in it's 47. But there was even some of the old timers from the first, say, 10, 15 years were still there 60 years later. And then obviously some people didn't show up, like Larry Bird and like Tim Duncan. They just waved in front of the screen. They got in the way, but it was still like heartfelt to see all the players come out one after the other. And then the rumors were, because it's Jordan, that Jordan was going to be there. He was there earlier the day at some NASCAR event or whatever. And then he showed up and he was the last one. They went forwards, the top forwards, top centers. I'm guessing it was 25, 15, 25. It was probably what the breakdown was or something like that. Whoop.
I'm surprised Bird wasn't there.
Or maybe the breakdown was how to do the math on that. So it's double the amount of guards and forwards versus centers. So Jordan was the last one. It was the last 3 were Steph, Magic, and Jordan. That was probably planned to have something like that.
Makes sense.
And when Jordan came out, it was like, it was like a holy event. Like the crowd went nuts. And it's like, yes, this is the man.
Right.
This is the man. Even though people argue that Kareem's one of the GOATs or one of the best, it's like this generation doesn't know Kareem. He stopped playing, 89, like 30 years ago. But when Jordan came out, it was like, holy shit, it's Jordan. Everyone went nuts. And then meanwhile, Steph Curry was getting booed because obviously, he's crushed Cleveland for a few of those. Yes, with help. Don't start an argument. Without Steph, they wouldn't have won any of those. And then he turns around and hits 16 threes in the game.
It's just fucking wild.
And like running. The reason I love Steph Curry is because it's literally like you're watching a game of NBA Jam. Like you're literally watching someone hit shots they should not be hitting when they're on. Like,
sure.
He literally takes a shot from like 40 feet during the game, Twice he did this, but one in particular, he takes the shot and it's halfway, it's in the air, like whatever, 40 feet in the air. He turns and runs away, knowing it's going to go in. Like no one else does these things.
Right.
The rest of the players are looking at him like you are an alien.
He's already done the math that ball is going in.
He's on such a, even other players say he's on such a higher level of what he's doing that you can't compare it, and you likely will never see this happen again.
Right.
It's almost one of those things where like, yeah, it's possible, but he's like reached this other point of knowing the touch on these shots. Like you can't almost train for that. Like you train for that, but he's at this other level now.
You can train to a certain degree, but yeah, there's still you're just born with some of that.
No. He went like 16. It was like he missed the last 4 or 5 threes. People are like, oh, he's washed or making jokes because he was tired. You can't throw up 25 threes from 40 feet and not be tired in a game.
Right.
And plus all the energy. But he hit like the first 16 of like 22, which is nuts. Like 75, 80%, you know? And then he hit like a teardrop in the fourth where he like with his left hand threw it up 20 feet in the air from like 12 feet, and from the baseline, it just went in. Like it was nuts. Sorry, I'm a Curry fanboy sometimes. Curry and Clay, my two boys there.
So Street Fighter 6 was announced over the weekend. There was a big countdown thing that was released about a week ago, and it coincided, I think, with the end of the Capcom Pro Tour, something like that. So everyone was like, yeah, it's going to be, the Street Fighter 6 announcement. They're going to show off the game or something like that. And they did. They announced Street Fighter 6. They did not really show it off. That was, I think the majority of that time was spent talking about the Capcom Fighting Collection, which we'll talk about in a minute. So they didn't really show anything. It was more like an announcement of an announcement. It was like, Street Fighter's being worked on. We know that. It hit with the impact of when Bethesda did that Elder Scrolls 6 trailer like 2 years ago at
2 years ago. Was it more than that at this point?
3 years ago at E3, where it was just Elder Scrolls 6, and it was a camera flying over like a landscape.
It's
literally like a mountain and some trees, and that was it. This showed an extremely wide and beefy Ryu.
I was gonna say I did see the meme of him looking like Kylo Ren in the episode 8, The Last Jedi, where like Kylo Ren is like really super beefy, almost like old school man. Like,
he looks like a deli ham still in its wrapper, just trying to like burst out. It's ridiculous. I hate it.
It's how like muscular leading men were like in the 50s and 40s. Like they weren't well defined, but they were still beefy. But anyway, so yeah, Ryu was looking thick.
Yeah,
looking really thick.
A lot of thickness.
Really wide. Like Hank the Tank Bear. Really wide.
A real thickness. The logo is bad.
Is that the big takeaway? Not him talking to this other character for 20 seconds?
No.
Who's the other character?
I don't know. I can't recall who it was.
U.S. character?
Yeah, I don't recall who it was.
But the logo. What's up with the logo?
The logo. Street Fighter 6 logo is bad. It looks like a budget UFC app logo that you would maybe see.
A budget UFC.
Like a logo someone would make for bootleg UFC streams.
You all right, little one?
Oh, sorry. That's a Genshin Impact ad loading on IGN.
Yeah, weird. And then the 6 looks like the little notifications badge that tells you you've got to get rid of some notifications on like your text messages.
So it's how many sides is this? 1, 2, 3,
It's
4,
a hexagon.
It's a hexagon. 6 sides. For 6. Oh.
It's a hexagon with the letters S and F on the inside.
It looks like a superhero team logo. That's what it looks like.
A shitty one.
Yes, because it's just white, a white hexagon and a
flat
white
design.
SF, and there's just a 6 in the corner.
Yeah, and the 6 really does look like one of those little nagging icons that tells you to check your like messages on your phone.
And so every Street Fighter logo is usually looks somewhat the same font or has some sort of red and yellow motif and some flames involved. And this said, "Fuck you. We're not doing any of that. We're just gonna pull what seems to be an Adobe stock image and just literally modify it for like 3 seconds."
A lot of people have been like, well, it's just the logo. That's true. But it does also kind of speak to like the amount of effort that people are putting into something going forward. You're supposed to be, this is your announcement of the game. Put your best foot forward. So a lot of people are like, well, it's probably a placeholder.
We like placeholder stuff.
Yeah, we do. So maybe it is a placeholder. Hopefully that'll be the case, because after looking into it, this is literally a stock logo that you can buy from, I believe it's Adobe, for $80, with some slight modifications to the F, and I think the points maybe on the S, but it was clearly a starting point.
Is it a different modified version seemingly uses a logo for the SF Connexion Sci-Fi Connection in France. Oh boy. So Capcom, we know you have some artists on staff. They're obviously, because they're making their games. You couldn't have someone in even a couple hours mock up something with flames. Like, even this logo, Ian, had the yellow and red sort of font colors with some flames attached. It would be 100 times better than this. Because it's like gray and white are not Street Fighter colors. Like they're just not. So why do that?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
The other thing I'd point out about it is that people say like they're trying to go for that like generic esports market, and I can see that is a very generic esportsy looking logo.
But that's not the audience for this. I mean, it is a little bit like
it is, but they're not. You're not going to gain. You're not going to bring more people into the Street Fighter fold by making it look boring and dumb.
No, it's a heralded fighting game series. It's not.
You can do whatever you want with Street Fighter.
It's the longest running fighting game series. It's the granddaddy.
The new logo could be pink and sparkly. It doesn't matter. So just kind of stick with your tradition. Okay. Make a new logo.
Do you like if that's going to be the graphic style? Do you care about that? You know, it's a 2D game. Like, do you care about them?
It's on the RE engine. I don't know. I'll have to see pictures of it when they show more. I'm not particularly excited about the visual direction of this.
The beefness.
Just I know it's just an initial impression, but no.
Speaking of impressions, some people thought that Ryu was showing some junk in his pants.
Oh,
I think that was like a shadow effect. But if they took the time to draw that out, but not a real logo, we want to show little Ryu down there.
Little Ryu,
little Ryu, beefy Ryu.
So also announced at the same time and given more attention, something that I'm very, very excited about, is the Capcom Fighting Collection was announced with an official trailer. 10 games that have, I think, a lot of fighting game fans have been looking for. One in particular getting its first ever.
I can't. Sorry, IGN. I can't do anymore with your auto loading ads. I can't do it.
I mean, just turn it down.
No, they're off, and then they put them on for the ad. Sorry.
It's going to include Darkstalkers, The Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, Vampire Savior, The Lord of Vampire, Vampire Hunter 2, Vampire Savior 2, Red Earth. I believe that's the first time Red Earth is coming to consoles.
Never heard of it.
Cyberbots, Super Gem Fighter Minimix, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, and Hyper Street Fighter 2. That being the only Street Fighter because the collection, the 30th anniversary collection, was released a couple of years ago. There's no need for another collection or those to be on here. That's really exciting, especially for me to see all the Darkstalkers games together. I love those. Vampire Savior is a favorite of mine in Vonnie's. Vonnie's got the arcade board for it, so very excited for that.
Hyper Fighting is just trash. They just threw it on. Definitely
excited to play Red Earth and check that out.
I have not heard of that game. Looked it up, Red Earth.
Like I said, CPS3, one of the only other CPS3 games.
96, okay.
So this looks like it's going to be good. All of them with rollback netcode.
Woo! I'm excited.
Quality of life features and improvements. Don't know what those are going to be yet, but obviously it'll be interesting to see. So yeah, super excited for that. And it comes out really soon. It comes out June 24th.
All right, so you're excited.
Yep. So
trying to think. Yeah, I haven't played Vampire Savior. I've played I played Darkstalkers a little bit when it was, but I don't remember playing it much. But I remember Seaside playing that, and I don't know if I played Cyberbots. I don't remember seeing that in an arcade.
No, I don't think I ever did.
Did that come out here?
That one might have had a Saturn port, but I don't think it never came out.
Oh, that's interesting. Either way, that's interesting. That's a nice little thing. And obviously, I'm in love with Puzzle Fighter. I'm in love with Puzzle Fighter. Gem Fighter I like as much, but I remember Puzzle Fighter liking it a lot more.
Oh, I love. Well, I mean, they're two completely different games.
Yeah,
one's a fighting game.
Yeah.
But I love Super Puzzle Fighter. It's great.
No, they're fun.
Okay, yeah, Cyberbots did get a release on Saturn and PlayStation.
This is always confusing when I was on the main count. Which one's Gem Fighter? Which one's Puzzle? It's like I want the puzzle one. So it's Puzzle.
The puzzle game has puzzle in the
Yes,
name.
and it's brilliant because the fighters have different combos based upon the patterns of. So there's ones that have easier combos for vertical. Some have diagonal, and you could go from almost dead to like messing someone up really quickly. That game's very momentum based, so I'm excited about that. I would probably buy that on its own, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
With online play, fantastic.
Absolutely. So there you go, Ian. Speaking of pro gaming, this is a fun, weird story. Pro gamer fired after saying men under 5'7" don't have human rights. This is a Kotaku article. The Tekken Esports pro made the peculiar remarks during a Cyclops athlete gaming online stream. Professional Tekken player Tana Kuna has been booted from Osaka-based esports team Cyclops Athlete Gaming for remarks she made about men's heights during a live stream, following a recent spate of far more incendiary remarks. Wow, okay. Tanu Kana has been on one. February 15th stream, Tana Kuna said men who are under 170 centimeters, which is 5 foot 6.9 inches, don't have human rights. She added they should look into getting bone lengthening surgery. Wow. Okay. Interesting enough, the average height for men in Japan is about 5 feet 7 inches. So she's like, that's her cutoff for human rights. She
also said people with A-cup breasts don't have human rights.
Okay. Equal opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she certainly seems to have a record of saying terrible things. Has dug up earlier comments that she made in a live stream in 2020 in which she apparently told someone during a stream to kill themselves and that they were the trashiest trash of society.
Okay.
Well,
while some in the West might interpret her remarks as a poor meme or a joke, in Japan it set off a firestorm online with people calling it discriminatory. In a now deleted tweet that you can see here, Tanu Kuna wrote, "It was pointed out that that my stream contained hate speech. She added this was not her intention and that she poorly expressed her love of tall people." You know, you can say I love tall people without saying short people don't have human rights. I think there's a different way of expressing these sentiments. Oh, that's kind of funny. Oh boy. She apologized, but it was hardly the kind of formal apology that's become expected in Japan. This made people online even more upset. Wow. Okay. That's fun. That's a fun story.
all right.
You all have rights at ultimatenintendo.com. You all do. Yeah, I don't discriminate. You can buy whatever guidebooks you want there.
Oh, that's
enamel
capitalism.
Pins. Absolutely. Your money's good for RBI baseball stickers. Doesn't matter your height.
Your money's good.
I love short people's money, tall people's money. Ian loves them all as well. Medium people's money as well. I'll be on Twitch Wednesday, twitch.tv/ContraCode, showing the best of 70s, 80s.
I won't be on Twitch Wednesday.
It should be. And we're going to both be at the SoCal Gaming Expo this weekend, February 26th and 27th at the Ontario Convention Center. Is that convention?
It's my convention dance.
Little convention.
It's my little convention dance.
Right there. Oh, and we'll have fun. It's our first convention together in about, holy crap,
86 years.
I was going to say 18 months, but no, it is 30 months.
Yeah.
30 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over 2 years.
2.5 years there. Is this big news, Ian?
What? Big news.
A game hall found.
Yeah.
27 years later in a storage unit in Nebraska.
Hundreds of sealed SNES games.
Gotta do it once.
Sealed.
Also Genesis games there. 3DO.
Yep. So hundreds of unopened SNES, Sega, and 3DO games sitting in a Nebraska storage facility since 1994. When a store shut down and everything was put into storage. There's a video that you can see of them going through it with things like Breath of Fire 2,
Chrono Trigger,
Final Fantasy 3, Gunstar Heroes.
The one I couldn't remember yesterday.
Yeah. The run-and-gun shooter by Capcom that has a dude with brown hair.
I thought it was Capcom.
That was literally what you said.
As a dude with brown hair and a red cover. Because of the video, the problem with this video, and who found this scene real quick?
I don't know who did find it.
It's a YouTube channel called This Is Game Room.
Yes.
And they're dealers as well. This video's got 170,000 views.
Nebraska-based game reseller Game Room.
Probably not a lot of stuff going on in Nebraska to find, but they found this.
2 staff members identified as Chris and John. That's who they are. Chris and John.
So this video is like a one-take sort of shaky cam. You can see some of it. God, it's like it doesn't focus on anything. There's like 3, looks like Mario is missings. There's a few Sim Cities, Baseball Simulator, Hyperstone, Ninja Turtles on Genesis, Hyperstone Heist.
Yeah.
Okay. Street Fighter Turbos. There's a lot here, and a lot of these is multiple copies of the games too. When you kind of break this down, when you look at it, Splatterhouse 3 sealed. There you go.
Oh yeah, that one's right in the beginning.
That's right in the beginning. I'm going through this. So yeah, they got gold here. They got gold. It was a closed store. I guess we don't know what store it was. That's not in this article, is it?
We're not privy to that information.
Privy to that. Thousands of classic titles, it says. Thousands. It says hundreds here. Then the article says thousands. So I don't get why I would say hundreds in the title, then say thousands. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a lot of money nowadays, obviously.
It's a shitload.
With this market, that's 7 figures.
Yeah.
For sure. Because a Chrono Trigger by itself goes for thousands and upon thousands at this nuts. It also depends on what these are great at, but if this was a game store, and most of these are probably like, sort of new, they got them new to sell,
You think these are going to get straight graded and slabbed? Yeah, at this point.
This will be the Nebraska collection, or whatever.
The Nebraska collection. Ah, gross.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna call it. Chris and John this is a Game Rant article. Chris and John are later seen with organized tubs of Super Nintendo, 3DO, Genesis, Saturn, and Sega CD. Oh, missed that. The pair reiterate most of what they found are widely available games. There were still plenty of unopened gems to make up for, including Ninja Turtles 4 and Sunset Riders.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but widely available doesn't fucking mean anything at this point.
Well, no, because these people that are buying the sealed games don't give a shit about if a game's rare or not. It has nothing to do with it. We already said that. It doesn't matter if a game's rare or not. It has nothing to do with the pricing. It doesn't matter.
That is what we have said.
You're goofy today.
Yeah.
Hank the Tank Bear got you goofy.
Yeah, Hank did get me goofy.
Yeah, I don't have a lot more to say about it because I would love to have seen just a list, but they probably want to quote unquote protect their investment, not because if they found a game that's like 20 sealed copies of a game that's what's so funny?
It's a quote unquote protect their investment.
Well, I mean, like because like there's the only reason you don't reveal what you found is because you want to bring this stuff to market and probably slowly.
Right. If they say they've got 10 of them, if they've got 10 or 20 of a really popular game, then that first one's not going to go for nearly as much because people are going to hold
they'll
out
dwindle.
And wait. Yeah.
They'll dwindle.
Right.
So I understand that, but
I get it too.
But they said the reason they said they didn't want to reveal all the amount was for where's the exact quote, Ian, that about this?
Oh yeah, this is dumb.
It said it was for they want to preserve the games and document them. That's what I saw. The quote was.
Yeah, they're preserved. They've been preserved. People got to stop throwing the word preservation around.
I mean, yes, they're preserved.
Throwing these in a. I mean, sell them, make your money. Even throw them in the plastic cases if that's what you want to do. But don't. You're not preserving them. Preservation is making sure we have access to these things like a library for years and years to come. That's not preservation. All those games are retail releases. They've been preserved.
Yeah, I mean, they're not thrown in the trash, but they're preserved. In terms of documenting them, you document...
They're documented.
Sealed games by making a list, saying this is what we got. So, I mean, no, I get it. It's just funny how, it's a big fine. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It could change their lives selling these games. I wonder. There's nothing about how much they bought it for, or like if it was an auction against other people, like a storage wars sort of auction, like what they got it for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always interesting. But this stuff is always out there. Every year or so, we talk about finds like this, like the huge treasure trove of all the sealed. Remember the mass toys in South America somewhere?
Oh yeah, that was
like
crazy.
To the ceiling of them.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't every single mass toy, but it was like whatever 8 to 10 different ones. They had tons of them out there. This stuff happens. We're not crazy when we say this stuff.
No,
we're not. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.